So you agree. You thought this movie was really good. Mean Girls, the movie musical, just dropped, and anyone who has been wearing pink on Wednesdays since 2004 is definitely gonna want to see it. From the music to the nods to the original film, I loved it. The one thing I was really looking forward to with this movie was the music and the dance numbers. Now, for some reason, Paramount wasn't necessarily promoting this as a musical, but the moment that I heard Renee rap say, "My name is Regina George," I was like, oh, bitch is gonna be singing in this. Sign me up. I already talked about this year being the year of musicals, so I definitely want to talk about the music and the dance numbers first. For the most part, the pacing felt really good. That's something you have to worry about with a musical. You don't want it to be too overly musical, especially in something that's gonna be in movie form. Right at the beginning, we had that cautionary tale song, and then immediately after that, we had Katie's intro song. That felt a little back to back to me, but I feel like once that was over, the pacing evened out. Katie's song, the first time that she meets Aaron Samuels, is so great. The choreo wasn't really that good for that part, but I felt like the timing was perfect. She was talking to him, and then they kind of effortlessly glided into song. And it was a good song too. Regina's Halloween song was perfection. Easily my favorite number in this film. I feel like it took that scene to a whole other level. Hey y'all, it's Nae. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Mean Girls 2024, so if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on this movie musical, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like if you do enjoy it. In the original movie, Regina walks up to Aaron, basically throws Katie under the bus, and that's foreshadowing, and then she kisses Aaron, and Katie's like, oh my gosh, she backstabbed me, this is what mean girls do. But with this version, she goes into an entire song before any of that happened. I felt like she was kind of a siren, and she was putting Aaron under her spell, and for me, it made that scene really, really top tier. She was literally casting a spell on Aaron and kind of pulling him back in to her grasp, into her Regina force field, if you will. And then, right when she had him, that's when she kissed him. It elevated that entire scene for me. I think it is my favorite scene from this film. Now, I'm not even gonna lie and say that I was a Renee Rapp fan before this or even knew who Girlie was, but now I think I love her as a singer. She has a really great voice. And look, I'm no singer myself, so I know there might be somebody out there like, girl, she was pitchy, girl, she was this. I thought she sounded fantastic, and I love her voice. I also thoroughly enjoyed the Revenge Party song, mostly for the visuals. It was colorful, it was bright, there was glitter, so of course I love that because I love those kind of things. They even broke the fourth wall a little bit, I believe, during that song when they had people playing instruments up in the trees, and they was like, okay, stop, we need to have a conversation. I love when movies break the fourth wall. It's perfect. The songs felt really, really catchy. By the time I walked out of the theater and got back to my car, I was like, oh, I need this soundtrack on repeat right now. And I was listening to it right before I started recording this video. Especially Regina's intro song. My name is Regina George. I'm gonna be very, very truthful. Renee Rapp has had me in a chokehold since I heard that in the trailer. I was like, ooh, she hit me right in whatever she hit me in. Now, I think there may be some people who don't like musicals who aren't gonna like this movie. It was very musical-y. Now, back in my past life, you know, I was a theater girly. I was never in any musicals because personally, I don't think I can hold a tune. Hold that thought. I actually was in a musical once. If y'all ever want to hear the story about it, let me know. It actually is somewhere in the YouTube universe. But I did theater. I did all of that kind of stuff. So I just love this environment of plays and that over-the-topness that you get with a musical. It was a little corny at times. The dance numbers were very Broadway and very over-the-top, and the one where they're talking about how Regina rules the school, they're clucking around like chickens. It was very musical-y. So if you were not prepared for that, you might be like, what the fuck did I just watch? That is typical for Broadway, typical for a musical. But for a movie, it can feel very over-the-top and very like they're reaching too much, or they're trying too hard, or they're overacting. In reality, it's just a musical. Again, I'm not sure why Paramount didn't promote this as a musical. Maybe they felt like they would be cutting out a huge chunk of people who wanted to see it if they knew up front that it was a musical. But I really think they undersold it because it was fantastic as a musical movie. I did think they did a great job at kind of breaking away from the original movie from jump. It starts off vertical. Janice and Damien are recording a video and they're singing cautionary tales. So you know exactly what you're gonna get up front. You know that it's not gonna be like the original Mean Girls, not your mother's Mean Girls, and you know that it's gonna be a musical. You know that up front. So while I don't think they promoted it in that way, and that may have been a disservice to how amazing it was, they did let you know as soon as the movie started that this is what it's going to be. So they didn't try to hide it once it got going. One thing that I found really interesting about the marketing for this film is that it seemed very, very focused on Regina, even though technically this is Katie's story. You know, not sure if anybody else felt that way, but that's the way I felt. However, I don't feel that the movie was one-sided at all. It was a great retelling and a great reimagining. And we also found out that this story was told from Janice's and Damien's point of view versus Katie's point of view in the original movie. Having a movie that has as strong a following as Mean Girls is kind of a double-edged sword. Mean Girls is a cult classic. It might not have been that good when it first came out. I don't know. I don't really remember. But people love it. People quote Mean Girls all the time. It is that girl of teen movies. So you have big shoes to fill when you say, I'm gonna try to do a little reboot-a-roni or a little reimagining of this. Die-hard fans do not want to see anything that they love reimagined. They don't care how good you think it's going to be. They don't want to reimagine anything. Especially millennials. Millennials be tied. You know, we be tied to what we like because we had too much drama, too much trauma in our lives. So we be like, we like what we like and we like to stick to it. So when you say that you're going to change something, people are going to be like, maybe you should leave it the same instead. Let's try that. So Tina Fey, she was doing the most when she decided she was gonna do a movie musical, but I think it really worked. I think she pulled it off. Some people are gonna say that this film is woke, as they always tend to do. In fact, even before the film's released, even before a trailer come out, when the cast was just announced, I saw people saying that it was too woke. And I don't know how you know that based off a cast. I'm a little disappointed in humanity, but I am not surprised. I don't understand the negative connotation that the word woke has gotten, and truth be told, I don't think it actually means anything. I think people throw that word around because they think that it makes them sound edgy, but they don't even really know what they mean when they say that. They just like it because it's a word that will trigger people. Having black people or gay people or any other type of minority in a film doesn't automatically make a film woke. It simply makes that film a reflection of what society is. When white people were the standard and that's all people wanted to see, and racism was running even more rampant than it is now in the US, white people were the prominent people in movies because that's what's gonna make money, that's what's gonna sell. Now that we are a little bit more open society, and I say little bit because y'all got a lot of damn work to do, it makes sense that you are seeing more diversity. That doesn't make it woke, that just makes it a reflection of what the hell is actually going on around you. Unless your circle is racist and that's why you think that is being woke. Now that's some tea. I do think that there are some situations where a lot of unnecessary changes are made to movies and made to roles, but that is not this video. Maybe we can talk about that in another video. But this isn't one of them. So hold your damn horses before you go calling this woke. All of that being said, the movie musical really does belong in its own category. It's not a remake of the original because the original wasn't a musical. Now, the storyline did pretty much stay the same, and of course they did pay homage to the original throughout this film, but again, I wouldn't consider it a remake. Katie's Halloween costume was pretty much identical, which I loved because that's such an iconic moment. She shows up scary and everybody's like, girl, what are you doing? You're supposed to be slutty tonight, like, body yaddy yaddy, you're giving dead. When Gretchen first says fetch, instead of her saying, oh, it's some type of slang from London, she says, oh, it's from an old movie that I saw. Like, girl, give me life. I love that that's the way that they introduced that into this movie. And yes, Tina Fey was still a pusher. And maybe or maybe not, that was confirmed this time. I don't know. I don't care who you are. But I do like the things that they added to this movie that were not in the original. Keep in mind, I never saw the musical, so I don't know what happened in that. But as far as the original movie compared to this one, they added some things like Regina getting wet with the sprinklers at homecoming and having her start this trend with the running mascara and the wet hair. The transitions during Karen's Halloween song, which were flawless, by the way. Also during those transitions when she was changing her Halloween costumes and flipping all around and the TikTok was TikToking, there was an Easter egg to Regina's original viral moment where her shirt got cut and her bra was showing through. They didn't go with that trend for this. Instead, they went with the running mascara. They even had filters for it. But they paid homage to that, and I love that. Sometimes it can feel like you're overdoing it when you want to pay homage to a movie. But I feel like they did it really well, and they did it in a way that fit into technology, which is, of course, kind of at the forefront of this movie. Because, again, it reflects the society that we are currently living in. Also, Katie's original intro song did mention the limit does not exist, and we saw that again when she was at the Mathletes competition. The film was full of moments like that just reminded me, okay, like, they're not completely trying to replace the original. They're paying homage and they're just upping it for today. And it felt really good to see that as someone who loves the original and now loves this one. The jokes felt timely. Tina Fey is amazing. I'll get into this a little bit more. But Jaquel, I think that's how I say his name, who played Damien, was just so damn funny. And there were jokes in the song as well. You know, when Karen was doing her Halloween song, she said she wanted to... What did she say she wanted to do? Cure sex cancer, and they were like, girl, that don't exist, and she was like, amazing, I cured it. Like, are you kidding me? It was so funny. It's sometimes when you are trying to do a joke, especially in a musical form, you got to be able to hit that every single time, and they were hitting it. I was laughing, everybody in the audience was laughing, so it was great. Regina's mom was somehow even more insufferable in this movie musical, and I loved every damn minute of it. I was like, girl, you are so fucking annoying. Thank you for being that way. I'm gonna fully get into the cast in a second, but this cast was full of up and coming young talent, some new faces for me, some faces I recognized like Angourie Rice, who played Katie. In addition to that, of course, Tina Fey and Tim Meadows came back for their original roles with a little twist. They added the little sprinkling on top that they may have been married, if not married, definitely living together in some capacity. I thought that was cute. I loved it. Again, played off of those roles. You know, another thing that Tina Fey and Tim Meadows did really well? Tina Fey wrote this. This is her baby. This is literally, she wrote the original. This is her deal. She doesn't try to put herself too much in the movie. She lets everyone shine in the way that they can shine. And she's just here to play the supporting role, and you know, but she plays the hell out of that supporting role now. Don't get me wrong. But I don't feel like because this is her project, she's trying to overshadow anyone. She lets everyone play the role that they are meant to play, and they do it well, and she plays her role of pusher very well. One of the things that sticks out the most to me from the original Mean Girls and this one was the relationship between Regina and Gretchen. Gretchen's character is all about living in Regina's shadow and knowing it. Karen's too dumb to realize that that's what she's doing, but Gretchen very much knows that she is living in Regina's shadow, and it makes her sad, and that is eventually what leads to the downfall of their relationship. We see that, of course, in the original movie when she finally tells Katie, oh, you guys are best friends? Like, well, this is this, and this is this, and she has that breakdown in the bathroom. That's how we see it in that movie. But in this version, we have that whole moment where she goes into Regina's closet, and she pulls out this music box, and she's like, oh, my grandpa gave this to me, but I gave it to Regina because that's just how much I love her. And she starts singing about how her mom used to say she was beautiful, but, you know, now she doesn't feel that way, and Regina doesn't tell her that she's beautiful. She knows that she's living in Regina's shadow, and having her sing that song with that music box really made me feel for her character. Like, damn, this girl really is living in her damn shadow, and she can't get from under it. And Regina doesn't really give a fuck about her. Like, I really felt for the Gretchen in this version, even more than I felt for the Gretchen in the previous version, because I knew that Regina was screwing her over, but I felt her pain with that song for this one. Like, go off, Gretchen, stand in your truth. I am so here for this version of Gretchen. I loved it. Like, for me, I think it really developed her character, and I'm so happy that she was able to get those thoughts off of her chest in this musical, because she does spend a lot of the time living in Regina's shadow and being overstepped by Regina and being quieted by Regina. So we never really hear what the hell she has to say. So this was perfectly done. In every trailer, Renee Rapp was definitely giving Regina George. I felt like she embodied the character really well, and of course the "Get in, loser" had me in a chokehold and still does. She just says it so great. Like, the original "Get in, loser" was like, "Get in, bitch," but this one was like, "Get in, bitch, I'm about to take over your whole fucking world." You know what I mean? Like, it had a little badass to it, had a little spice. I think that's why I liked it. I definitely have a little crush on Renee Rapp. It's giving. She's giving. I liked her as Regina. It was convincing. That's all I have to say about that. Her fall from grace somehow felt even more intense in this version. I guess the added bonus of her literally going viral when she fell kind of put the cherry on top of the cake. Like, oh, this bitch is about to fall from grace. Like, she didn't just trip over grace, she's falling. She's going viral. People were talking shit about her. She got the teachers being like she should have lifted from her chest or whatever he said. Because at the end of the day, a movie, even a loose remake of a movie, needs to feel like it belongs in the time that it is released, if that's what it's going for. If this isn't a period piece, then it needs to feel like it came out right now. And having her go viral is exactly the way that this would have happened. Oh, this is the HBIC around school, but that bitch fell today. Yeah, that would have went viral. I really do feel like Renee Rapp was in her element most when she was singing. I already mentioned her Halloween song, but her kind of revenge song, after she finds out what Katie had been doing and she gets the burn book and she starts writing that she's a fugly, ugly cow or whatever she said. That scene in the original movie of Regina posting all the printed copies of the burn book all over the lockers and then literally watching the entire school fall apart and watching the world burn, because that's the name of that song that's sung in this version. She did watch the world burn. She put up her little photocopies and people started reading them, and that was the moment that she got her revenge. That moment in the movie is so iconic. I mean, I think we can all envision exactly which scene I'm talking about. Regina standing at the stairs, her arms are folded. She's like, yeah, bitches, y'all think y'all was gonna get me? Well, I got you. Iconic scene. So when I saw that they weren't going that route, I was like, okay, I get why they're not gonna have her printed out, because who the hell prints anymore? But also, how are they gonna fill the shoes of how intense that moment was? So when I saw her just drop the book off, I was like, it didn't give. But then they had the song to go along with it, and the lights were flickering, and they had edits and people talking about it and it going viral. amazing. Loved it. I think they filled the shoes for the times. Karen's character is as dumb as a bag of rocks. And Ivanica, I think that's how I say her name, played the absolute fuck out of that role. Just call her the Tin Man. Wait, the Tin Man needed a heart. Just call her the Scarecrow. She had the crazy eyes the entire film, and she really committed to it. Like, I was like, oh, she's insane and also really dumb. Shout out to her. I didn't know who she was before this, but she did that. Of course, outside of the plastics, we have Katie's crew, the greatest people you'll ever meet. And I'm going to include Aaron Samuels in here because he doesn't really have a clique that I can include him in. Inquiry Rice was a really good Katie. I think I believed her more as a shy, awkward version of Katie than the badass Katie that she became after she had sabotaged Regina George. She just doesn't have evil character energy, so I didn't really take her too seriously in that role. But shy, awkward new girl, she ate that right up. Janice's character was fantastic. I also believe that she played the fuck out of her role. I really think she has some type of hatred towards Regina George. Her songs are really good. Her range sounded amazing to me, so loved it. Damien was somehow even more too gay to function in this version than the original. Quill seemed so naturally funny. Like, I felt like he was in his element in this role. He was delivering those punchlines like nobody's business. I felt like they were coming from the person and not the character, which is a great position you want to be in as an actor. He's hilarious in this film. The way he put his own spin on, she don't even go here. He had the fan. When he took out the dolls and started explaining what happened between Janice and Regina, it was very, very black and very, very gay, and I just loved him in that role. When he pulled out that card and was like, I can't stop this, I gotta be home. What happened to the car that he had? I guess he didn't have it. He had the car instead, which I think also took it to an even funnier level. I think Jaquil and Ali, who plays Janice, really fed off of each other's energy. They were the perfect two to cast for this because they felt like they felt like besties. I really felt like they had seen each other every single day since 2009, like he said in the movie. Like they had great character energy. I feel like they spent a lot of time on making sure that they really knew each other so that they can play into those roles even better. Aaron Samuels is, of course, the hot character. No teen movie is complete without a hot character. Christopher Briney is hot AF, so of course he was going to nail that role. But one other important thing about Aaron Samuels is that he isn't dumb and he isn't superficial. He can't do a lick of calculus, but he's not dumb. He actually hates how superficial Regina is, and that's one of the reasons why they really end up not working, besides the fact that she cheated on him. And I think he did a great job of showing that too. He likes Caddy. He likes the smart girl, and he was very pissed when she dumbed herself down. He was like, yeah, that is dumb. Like, what are you doing? Which, of course, he did in the original, too. But, you know, I felt like he played that role really well. I am so happy that we got a Lindsay cameo. I've expressed this before when I believe when I did my Falling for Christmas review. But I love Lindsay Lohan. I grew up with Lindsay Lohan. I love seeing her on my screen again. And she looks so happy. And she just looks so good and in her element. And got a little bit too excited for Lindsay. I absolutely love this season for Lindsay. So I saw this film early, one day early. I saw it last night. It comes out today. I think when people start to see this movie, they're going to really like it. Even if you don't like musicals, I think if you go in with an open mind, you're going to enjoy this. Go in with an open mind. Know that it's not a remake. Know that it's going to be different. Stop being chained to what you saw in 2004 and you're going to be okay. I think it's going to draw a mixed crowd. The millennials were out last night. Okay, they left the kids with the babysitter. They were out past the 8 p.m. bedtimes. They were out. The millennials were out. The crowd was full of millennials. And of course, it's going to also draw a Gen Z crowd because of who the cast is. So yeah, I think we're going to get a mixed bag. People are probably actually going to be going to see this with their daughters, even though it's not your mother's Mean Girls. Both will enjoy, in my opinion. I mean, I loved it so much that I was not leaving the theater without merch. I got me a burn book. You know, back in the day before I started using screenshots of the actual film to do thumbnails, this probably would have been a thumbnail. But this is just not as good. But, of course, they have merch at the theater because it's been 20 years since the original. This is like a little storage container. I don't know what I'm going to put in it. I'm probably going to write notes shit-talking people and put it in here, but that would only be fitting, right? It was very much giving concert because who leaves a movie with merch? I guess I do. But yeah, clearly I loved it. I can't wait to see it again. I'm so ready for it to go on streaming, even though it literally is not out until today. But that is that on that. Thank you so much for watching. I actually still am on my little mini break from editing outside of this until February, so you really won't see me in this form in a long form video until February 14th when Love is Blind comes out. I got up very, very early to record this, so I'm about to edit it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye! Y'all, it is 7:22 a.m. and she is about to start editing. I already talked about 2004 being, it is not 2004, child. I might have to end up auto correcting this, but yeah. Girl, don't be judging me for my wig now. This is new and I'm still trying to learn how to lay these edges, but I think Jaquil and Ali, who plays Janice, Ali, I feel like we gotta reapply, y'all. But this cast was full of up and cunning. Was the relationship between Regina? I think Jaquil and Jaquil. Scarecrow need a brain? Yeah, the Scarecrow needed a brain. Mean Girls, the musical movie. Nope, here we go.